According to the narrative. Now, let's be real clear. I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on with this.
I know.
This guy, first of all, how did he get to the roof? How come nobody was looking? How come nobody was like, there's a direct line of sight between where he's sitting and those roofs? You guys didn't check? You don't have a drone? Like, that's insane.
This is not going anywhere. It's just not.
As you know, Erica Kirk just did what no one expected. She clapped back at Joe Rogan, and she did it like a pro. Have you ever seen someone get accused of something so wild, it doesn't just break the internet, it splits it clean down the middle? Because that's exactly what went down when Joe Rogan decided to throw shade at Erica Kirk.
A lot. If I wish I was a cop, I'd sit in a room like, this story is horseshit. Like, none of these things make any sense to me.
And the fallout is still burning hot. See, Joe didn't just mention Erica. He dropped that sly half-smirk kind of hint, the one that sounds casual but lands like a gut punch. And even though he never said her name outright, we all knew exactly who he meant. The real question is, did he cross the line or just say what everyone else was too scared to admit?
Now, apparently, the narrative is that this is his grandfather's rifle from World War I and doesn't have a serial code. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay, why? Wait.
Because when Joe Rogan says, I don't think Erica Kirk is completely innocent, the world doesn't just listen, it spirals. Suddenly, everyone's talking, tweeting, dissecting, and losing their collective minds. Let's rewind for a second. It all started on one random Tuesday episode of The Joe Rogan Experience. Rogan was deep in conversation, one of those marathon talks about politics, control, and the truth no one wants to tell when he dropped that line.
If you want people to lose all faith that anyone is going to solve anything.
Yeah.
You had a bunch of, if you're going to kill a guy, you had a bunch of other wacky shit that doesn't make any sense and you spam it out there at the same time.
And just like that, boom, everything shifted. No follow-up, no explanation, no tone change, just that classic Rogan pause, the kind that hangs in the air long enough to make you wonder if he knows more than he's saying. Fans ran with it instantly. TikTok editors slowed the clip down, added ominous music, and zoomed in on his face like they were decoding a secret message. Within hours, it wasn't just a quote, it was a full-blown internet obsession. Some said Rogan was onto something. Others said he'd crossed a line. But one thing was certain, Joe Rogan had just turned Erica Kirk's private grief into a public spectacle. And if you think that was harsh, it gets worse. Rogan's comment wasn't accidental, it was methodical, a textbook Rogan move. That calm, measured look and deep sigh, that's his weapon of choice. He doesn't yell, he plants doubt. He drops one quiet sentence, then lets the world do the screaming for him. And this time, that one line grew legs and claws. His fan base, the self-proclaimed truth seekers, treated it like gospel. Suddenly, every corner of Twitter and Reddit turned into an investigation room. They dug up old clips, freeze-framed funeral footage, analyzed Erica's tone at charity events, even circled her hand movements like detectives in a crime doc. What started as one offhand remark had spiraled into a full-blown theory factory, and Erica Kirk was now at the center of it all. It was wild. People said Erica's grief looked rehearsed, that her speech sounded written, like she was auditioning for sympathy instead of mourning her husband. Others claimed she'd been media trained to cry.
And then he blinked, and saw his savior in paradise.
You couldn't scroll for 2 minutes without seeing Rogan's smirk looped over dramatic captions like, he knew. It wasn't news anymore, it was sport. Every tear she shed became proof. Every pause in her voice turned into a clue. And while Rogan sat comfortably in his studio, racking up millions of views, Erica was getting dissected in silence, one frame, one post, one rumor at a time. If you've ever seen the internet turn on someone, you know it's brutal. 1 minute they're praising you for your strength, the next they're calling it an act. Erica Kirk, once admired for her grace and calm under pressure, suddenly became the internet's favorite villain. Her calmness, the same thing people once called inspiring, was now evidence. To many, she was now too calm to be sad, monetizing her husband's death or posting like she's running a campaign.
And now his mission is my mission. Everything that Turning Point USA built through Charlie's vision and hard work, we will make 10 times greater through the power of his memory.
Clips from Charlie's funeral resurfaced everywhere, slowed down, filtered, and overanalyzed. Every blink, every breath turned into a sign. It stopped being mourning and became a witch hunt. Even her faith, the one thing she always leaned on, got twisted. People accused her of using God as cover, and through it all, silence. No statements, no breakdowns, no exclusive interviews, just silence, which, in the world of social media, is the loudest sound of all. Then, just when the noise couldn't possibly get any louder, Erika finally spoke. She uploaded a 6-minute video titled Enough, just her and millions of listeners, and then she said it.
So what I'm getting at here is the Charlie Kirk show is not going anywhere. My husband's voice will live on.
That's all it took to stop the scroll. She didn't name Joe Rogan as one of the people trying to slow her down. She didn't have to. Everyone already knew. Her next line cut even deeper.
The show will go on. The team is keeping this alive because we have Charlie in each and every one of us.
The way she said it was as clear as can be. Erika is here to stay. Every word felt intentional, like she was stitching back her dignity in real time. Within minutes, the internet flipped. Number signs stand with Erika flooded timelines. Candace Owens called it a raw act of courage. Tucker Carlson reposted it saying, "This is what grace under fire looks like." But Rogan's crowd dug in. They called the video PR grief. Others said it looked Oscar level. Still, a few minutes were all it took for Erika to shift the entire conversation. The woman they'd labeled cold didn't just defend herself, she burned the room down without raising her voice. The next few days felt like a digital civil war. Timelines turned into trenches. One side swore Rogan had crossed a moral boundary. The other claimed Erika was emotionally manipulating the public.
He'd always end it by asking, "Please let me know how I can better serve you as a husband."
Every news outlet picked a team. Some went all in for Erika, while others stood behind Rogan. The blog stirred the pot with headlines like, "Can grief be monetized?" Talk shows suddenly had grief analysts and body language experts on rotation, all pretending it was about truth when really it was about traffic. You could almost hear the clicks piling up. Meanwhile, Erika vanished for a while. No stories, no statements, not even a like. Her last post lingered like a whisper. "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble." And just like that, she disappeared. A single sentence floating over the internet like a ghost no one could ignore. If you thought the outrage was about empathy, think again. It was about entertainment. The internet didn't want healing. It wanted a spectacle. Rogan's podcast views skyrocketed by millions, and Erika's tweet was one of the most viewed posts on X that week. Suddenly, everyone was a critic, or worse, a commentator. Reaction videos poured in like floodwater, people crying, ranting, defending, mocking, each one milking her pain for clicks. It was chaos disguised as compassion. Hosts pretended to care, arguing over whether Rogan should apologize, all while replaying Erika's tear-streaked face between ad breaks. Psychologists lined up to decode her body language. Writers poured out think pieces with titles like Charlie Kirk's Murder and Its Digital Afterlife. They all wanted to sound profound, enlightened, but really, they were feeding the same monster that Rogan created. Every word, every clip, every hot take just made it hungrier. And then, just when the noise finally started to fade, when people began to move on, Erika came back. She said, "There is no linear blueprint for grief," and the political world caught fire. Half of the users swore she was responding to Rogan. The rest claimed she was calling out the media. Some said it sounded like a goodbye. Others called it revenge. Within hours, hashtags like "We Stand with Erika" exploded, trending for 2 straight days. Even Rogan's own fans turned on him for a moment or two, but Rogan didn't take the bait. No apology, no denial, nothing, just silence. And that silence, it was loud. That's when it hit me. Erica Kirk didn't beat Joe Rogan by fighting him. She beat him by refusing to play by his rules. She never raised her voice, never snapped back, never chased the click. Every time the internet begged for drama, she gave them calm. Every time Rogan threw shade, she smiled into the quiet, and it ate him alive. Soon, even Rogan's comment sections were full of her name. Fans were mocking his silence. Critics were calling him cowardly. Meanwhile, Erika's following doubled overnight. Her Enough video kept trending. Her 8-word tweet was quoted in think pieces as a masterclass in control. She didn't have to win the argument. She became the argument. At this point, it wasn't even about Erica or Rogan anymore. It was about us, the audience, the spectators, the addicts to outrage. We turned a woman's grief into a storyline and a man's curiosity into a weapon. Truth stopped mattering the moment we picked sides. Erica became the face of loss. Rogan became the voice of doubt, and the rest of us became the jury, retweeting, commenting, feeding the fire. It made me stop and ask, who really owns the truth anymore? The one who speaks it loudest, or the one who stays silent long enough for everyone else to build their own version of it? Because Erica's short speeches were doing something no rant ever could. It made everyone else show their hand. The critics, the fans, the opportunists, all exposed themselves while she said as little as possible. That's when it clicked for me. Her few words and forgiveness weren't a surrender, it was a strategy.
Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
Though she wasn't about to hide from Rogan, she was starving him, starving the noise, starving the chaos, starving the man who built his brand on people taking the bait. See, Erica never needed to clap back with fury. She didn't need to name names, drag anyone, or cry for sympathy. She didn't overreact, she planned. By refusing to step directly into the chaos, she made everyone else spin in it. By speaking in fragments, calm, poetic, and perfectly timed, she made the world do her explaining for her. Every pause, every post, every photo became its own headline. That one line, you can't win when people love to watch you fall. It wasn't closure, it was control. Because Erica wasn't just calling out the haters who weren't satisfied with how she mourned, she was calling out Rogan, the tabloids, the podcasters, the truth chasers, every single one who turned her grief into gossip fuel. She didn't just silence them, she framed them. She weaponized ambiguity. She turned mystery into armor. And that on and off silence cut deeper than any rant ever could. In the end, Joe Rogan, the man who built an empire on having the last word, lost to a woman who didn't need an empire to stand tall, but gained one anyway.
And so I promise you today, every part of our work will become greater. I am tremendously honored to be the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
Erica Kirk didn't destroy him with rage. She destroyed him by redefining him, putting him in the same box as every other hater, and shrinking his power to mere noise. She turned restraint into rebellion. And somehow, without ever raising her voice, she made her voice sound louder than his entire platform. And that's the part no one saw coming. The twist no headline could predict. The quietest voice in the room didn't just survive the noise, she outlasted it. While everyone else shouted for attention, Erika Kirk did the one thing none of them could handle. She said just enough and somehow still had the last word.